December of 2024, the General Assembly of the United Nations, which is the plenary body of member states at the UN, asked the International Court of Justice a legal question. And the International Court of Justice is the principal judicial body, an organ of the United Nations. And that legal question was, they asked the court, what are Israel's legal obligations as an occupying power and as a member of the United Nations regarding the presence of the United Nations, other international organizations, and third states in and in relation to the occupied Palestinian territory. And the reason why this question, I've generally set it out, but the reason why the question was asked is because of the dismal situation on the ground in occupied Palestine. Last summer, the court was also asked a question, or adjudicated on a question before it, concerning the legality of Israel's continued presence in the territory. I also worked on that case. And the court found that Israel is illegally present in the occupied Palestinian territory and has an obligation to leave the territory, all of it, including the Gaza Strip, as rapidly as possible. But the reason why this court case was brought is because it's effectively a follow-up. The court said last summer that to the extent that Israel remains in the occupied Palestinian territory, even though it has a requirement to leave, it's still bound by obligations under international humanitarian law, international human rights law. And so the General Assembly wanted to know what those obligations are. And so we put our case to the court. The case also covers Israel's obligations under UN law, the law governing the privileges and immunities of the United Nations, or the law, in addition to the law governing how Israel is required to treat UN officials and the safety of UN officials and UN personnel. So it's a wide-ranging opinion that we hope the court will be principled with, and I suspect that it will.
What are your expectations from the court?
Yeah, again, because the court is the principal judicial organ of the UN, and because the UN, the evidentiary record that we presented today is very clear on what Israel's obligations are, you can generally get a sense of where the court might end up. For instance, Israel has been attacking UNRWA and declaring UNRWA to be a banned organization. UNRWA enjoys privileges and immunities under international law. UNRWA has a right to be physically present in the territory, both because it is authorized by the General Assembly of the United Nations to be in the occupied Palestinian territory, and its presence is also there at the invitation of the State of Palestine. So it is likely that the court will affirm that Israel has obligations to maintain UNRWA operations in the territory, not to expel it. That's just one example. Israel has been destroying with reckless abandon UN property, killing UN staff members. All of that property is absolutely immune from any form of interference by anyone at any time, no matter who holds the property, right? It's still UN property. And so the record is clear that the occupying power, through its indiscriminate bombardment campaign in the Gaza Strip and elsewhere in the occupied Palestinian territory, its ravages there, is violating its obligations towards the UN.